Welcome to the Westrose Media Podcast, Lessons from the Ashes. We are here to tell the Phoenix Rising stories, coming up from the ashes to build businesses, to build personal brands, to parent, coming out, all of it. The stories of those who came from nothing and did great things. We all have a Phoenix Rising story, and I can't wait to hear yours. Join me every week for new podcast episodes. And of course, make sure you follow the show so that you never miss an episode. See you soon. Welcome to the Westrose Media Podcast, Lessons from the Ashes. I'm super excited that you're back, and we have a pretty spicy and amazing conversation today with just me. That's right, it's a solo episode, and I'm very excited to talk to you about this topic because it's something I've been thinking about a lot and talking a lot about in my groups that I'm running, and it's been really, really on my mind, and I'm super fucking excited. So, one thing before we get started, I love that you're listening to the podcast. It's super fucking exciting, and I am seeing your views rack up and your listens rack up. And I want to say, hey, you haven't followed the show yet, have you? So make sure, pause, go, press follow, press rate, give me some stars. It matters a lot to me. Okay, let's get into it. So today we are talking about starting over and skill stacking. This is something that I'm super excited about because I think there's a lot of stigma around it. People seem to think that starting over is failing, and I call bullshit on that. I don't think that's true at all. I think there is such great power in starting fresh. And the thing is you're never actually starting from nowhere, right? Even if you start a business, it doesn't go the way you planned, you shut the whole thing down, and then you do something different. All of the lessons you learned along the way are super valuable, and you get to carry those into the next thing. So really, I like to think of it as you're climbing a really big staircase, and maybe you converge into a different pathway and a different way up the staircase. But what you're doing is every single time you make a mistake, every time you fail, every time you try something you haven't tried before, you're learning. You're learning more things, you're gaining more skills, and you're really starting to compound something that is called skill stacking. So skill stacking is basically when you take all the shit you're good at, you stack it up, and you see what amazing group of things you have to offer, and then you leverage that in an industry that needs you, and that's how you make the most of all the things you've learned, even if you feel like you're starting from scratch. So let me break this down for you. What I'm talking about is even if you are at a place in your business where you're like, you know what, this isn't working. All the shit I've been doing isn't working. My sales aren't the way they were from last year. Nothing is really going the way I planned. I feel kind of burnt out. I feel like, oh, this isn't really working. Or maybe you're having massive success, but you're also kind of like, this isn't really fulfilling me the way I thought. There's a rat race to keep up, and I really wish I was doing something that made me feel a little, more alive. So either way, whether you're starting absolutely fresh or you just want to revamp your shit and make it nicer, this is what I'm talking about in starting over and skill stacking. So skill stacking is when we take every single thing we're good at, we put it together, and we don't just throw it out in the world and be like, hey, here's my list of things on my resume. We craft it in a way that shows people your value, and then we look around at the markets that need you, and that's where we decide where to leverage you and where to promote you. I do this with my clients, and it's something that's really, really amazing. I did this with a client today who not only does amazing construction and stuff, but also has this entire other part of their business and their life where they did all these other trainings in physical health, and they're using them together to create a wellness brand that's going to just blow your socks off. But unless you look at all the things you're good at and put them together, you might think, well, what the fuck does my personal training days have to do with a construction business? Or what does graphic design have to do with being an online coach? Or what does being a teacher have anything to do with being, teaching yoga? All of these things that you have and you're good at, they end up creating more than the sum of their parts. So for example, I'm going to use myself as an example. I started in the culinary world, right? I have my red seal, which is a lot of hours to get, my ticket in culinary arts. I could walk into any kitchen and ask for a job, but the industry did not suit me at all. I was sick of living off of cigarettes and caffeine and being at work till 2 a.m. That was not going to work with having kids. And when I started a new career, I kind of thought, like, what a waste, what a waste of all that. But hold on, let's get back to that. But also, my whole life, I'd grown up in an entrepreneurial family, right? Everybody I knew owned a business. I worked in my parents' business when I was young. All of these things, I had literal years of experience of seeing how entrepreneurs tick, what motivates them, what kind of decisions they make, and what it's actually like being one. And then I started getting into management and marketing, and I started to realize, okay, what kind of things draw customers in? What kind of things draw staff in? What kind of things make a staff member stay versus leave? What kind of motivation do people need in the workplace? Again, more skills, maybe not all tied together, but just wait. Then, of course, my photography and my artistic side. How could I leverage that into making some kind of business for myself? I have an artistic flair. I'm really good at picking things up. I'm great at taking photos. I'm really good at seeing what kind of videos go well together. So all separately, none of these things really seem like, okay, that's cool, but whatever. But when I stack them up, it puts me in such a unique position in my industry that nobody can touch it. So let me explain why. Because not only do I take amazing photo and video, I have an eye for art, and I have an eye for art that people fucking like, right? You can have an eye for your specific art, but if nobody wants to buy it, that's great. Good for you. You might be famous when you're dead, but I'm planning to make my money when I'm alive. I'm technically good at my skill. I have technical skills, which I keep learning more of. So that helps. Yes, there might be other photographers and videographers who have more technical skill than I do, but if they can't market themselves, what's the point? And they can't make a living at it, then cool, good for them. Also, entrepreneurship, I know a fuck ton about that. Not only have I run multiple of my own businesses, but I've been in businesses, I've helped entrepreneurs, I know what makes them tick. So helping them build their own business is something I'm uniquely qualified, because not only have I been in the shoes, I've been in the shoes of the children they're supporting, I have been in the shoes of the people they're working with, and I've seen how they make decisions and what they do and what motivates them. And also running teams. So many of the people who hire me, the brands who hire me, they're not just hiring me to bring them in new clients, they're hiring me to bring in new team members. Because that's a huge, huge thing when you start to scale your business and you want to bring on team members that are going to fit with your company culture, which are going to stay long term, because we all know how expensive it is to train a new person. And then if they leave after 6 months, so much sunk cost. So all of these things that work together, all of these things that I learned previous, none of them were a waste. And in fact, all of them together create in me a special skill stack that nobody else around me has. I can walk in to your small business, look at you and your team and your whole vibe and peg it instantly. Okay, this is what I would change. This is where we need to focus. This is what you need to make content on. And people are like, oh, that's amazing. How did you do that? Because I have years and years and years of experience in all of these things. And none of them knock out the other. Every single one of them improves the other instead of disproves it. It's all working together to make me incredibly qualified for what I do. So if you feel like you are starting over, or you feel like you maybe have to start over, reframe it. You're not starting over. You're skill stacking. So if you are in a little bit of a place where you're like, okay, something's got to give. Either I'm starting fresh Or maybe you need to shift something in your marketing because sales aren't the way they were last year. So many people that I'm talking to are not making the sales they were last year. Part of this is the economy. Part of this is that all of the marketing shit you learned last year, throw it out the window. People are buying differently. Trends are different. It's way harder to go viral on Instagram this year than it was last year. So many factors. But when I work with people one-on-one or in my groups like the Powerful Personal Brand, we look at, okay, what are all the things you're good at? What are we going to take that makes you fucking special? This is why the entire first part of the Powerful Personal Brand is all about what matters to you and what are you actually good at? Like, what have you done? Tell me the story. This is why I always ask people, tell me your story. This is why I have an entire podcast about people's stories, because I want to see what you've gone through, what you've done, and how can we leverage that to make sure that you are absolutely crushing it. So if you want to do this in your own life, I'm going to talk you through it quickly. But if you really want to dig deep, you got to join the Powerful Personal Brand. It's starting again in October, and it's going to be fucking amazing. So what you're going to do is write down every job you've ever had that you mostly liked, every skill you've ever learned, like simple shit, right? Like, what can you all do? What can you, if someone says, can you do this? You say, yeah, no problem. Got it covered. What are all of those things? And that's your skill stack. All of the things you know how to do and all of the things you practice doing. So if you've only done it once, we're not calling that a skill. Something you can proficiently do over and over again. Then we're going to look at the accumulation of all those things. What industries are really lacking those skills? So for me, there's an enormous amount of people on the internet starting a business or a personal brand, or the coaching industry is freaking blowing up. And lots of them have learned how to be a coach or how to, do the skill that they're doing, or how to, like, they've mastered a craft and now they're trying to turn it into a business, but they have no fucking clue how to take their entrepreneurial spirit and the skill they have and market themselves. So that's where I was like, this is my niche. This is an industry that desperately needs me and my skill set. So look around. Maybe it's not the place you thought. I'm actually in the process of kind of shifting some of my niche, and it kind of probably feels seamless to you because I'm good at it. But really, it's because I, over the last 6 months, have been looking, okay, where do I need to shift? What industry, what section of the market needs what I'm offering way more right now? And then how can I serve them? Because if I see a gap in the market that my skills can fill, that's where I'm going. Because you can, use your skills, and there are people who do $50 for a 2-hour photo shoot for family photos. I see hundreds of ads for that right now in the fall. That's not me. Yeah, I have the skill. I could do that, but I'm not going to, put myself in a position in a market that's fully saturated by other people who can pull it off. It's not my jam. I have way more skills, and I see a opening in a market where people have more money to spend, so that's where I'm going. You might feel like, oh, is this like a bit backwards? Not at all. What I want you to see is, where are your unique skills missing? Who needs what you're offering? And then start to market to those people. Versus most people, when they think of their ideal client, they just think of themselves. 99% of people, when they start describing their ideal client to me, they're describing themselves. And I'm like, okay, good start. Let's grow from here though. So I really hope that this has been helpful and thought-provoking. I would love for you to comment and send me a message and tell me what skills you're stacking and where you want to find them in the market. And if you really want to dig deep with this, I have some really cool things coming up in September, but the most exciting thing is the Powerful Personal Brand Round 2. It is a transformative group. It is a course where I take you all the way from zero to launch of a new product, a new business, or just revamping your brand. And it is so in-depth, and it is so detailed, and it is incredibly life-changing. The last group is finishing today, and they've all their testimonials are blowing me away. It's fucking unreal. I cannot wait to take the next group through. So if you are interested, send me a DM. Check it out. It's on my website. You know where to find me, baby. I can't wait to talk to you again. Please, please share this episode. I can't stress enough how awesome it is when I see you guys sharing the episodes and tagging me. It's my favorite fucking thing. All right, I'll see you soon. Thanks so much for tuning in. If you feel like when you go to post, you're pulling teeth, or you sit down to type and just poof, your mind is blank, or you post a bunch of things, but it doesn't really seem like they make sense, well, I have a guide for you. I am hosting a free workshop just for you, where we are going to talk about content, and it's called the Content Creation Roadmap. I'm going to show you my strategy that I use to plan out content, to make sure that I am getting all the things I need to say out consistently, and how I organize it all so that I never wonder what to post. If you want in, head to the show notes and make sure that you click the link and join. This is a limited offer, and as soon as it goes live, it's going up to full price. So jump in, grab your spot. I cannot freaking wait. It's going to transform the way that you think about content, that you post content, and how people react to it. I hope to see you there. Hey, I'm Stephanie Rose, and I am the host of the West Rose Media podcast, Lessons from the Ashes. Make sure you follow me on Instagram and on Threads and on TikTok and all the places. My handle is @WestRoseMedia. Check out my website too. There are so many resources for people just like you, people who are climbing out of the ashes, ready to make a new life. I got you, babe. Make sure you follow along. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast. That way you never miss an episode, and I can keep doing the magic. I can't wait to keep going. Let's get into it.